Gareth Jones on Speed Car News. Renault have recently updated the Renault 5 only 2 years after its debut. The stylish hatch has improved range alongside the addition of new personalisation options, including gold wheels and midnight blue paint, just like the classic Clio Williams. When asked to comment, Patrick Head said that he would decline the opportunity. Hello and welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed, or perhaps welcome back to Gareth Jones on Speed after our short summer break. Joining me is Alex Goy, who's almost certainly not had a summer break. Am I right?
You are correct. I've been working. I am, however, the day this goes out, Thursday, I will be getting on our aeroplane and going somewhere for 5 whole days.
Somewhere nice and warm, but not too warm?
South of France, innit?
Oh, you like it down there? You've been there quite a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, a friend puts us up and we're going to have a very lovely time. And on Saturday I'm going to be sat by a beach reading books and drinking pink wine. I'm going to become one with linen and grapes.
I'm with you on that. And will you give my regards to any Citroen Meharis or similar that you might see out there?
I happen to know that where we're going, there is at least one. So when I see it, I will send it to you.
That's fortunate. I love the Mehari. So I saw a classic car auction the other day, and there were loads and loads and loads of really amazing cars on there. There was I think a 1970 Maserati Merak was one of them that got my eye, that looked gorgeous. But I think it was the original Mark 1 Ivy Green Mini Moke that got my attention. That would be worth having, wouldn't it?
I've driven the new Moke, the Lecky Moke.
You have. Wait, is it the American one? Because there were two. There's a slightly larger one, wasn't there? We talked about it.
There's a lawsuit between Moke International and a different one. And Moke International, I think, is the UK one. And there's the American one. And it's all very confusing. One of them's road legal. The other one sort of isn't, I think. I mean, I don't know enough about it. Nick Berg at Haggerty did a really nice piece about the split between the two.
It's a complicated world, the world of licensing, isn't it? It's very complicated. I've been filling my time with no Formula One and no on speed to make by climbing mountains, having friends to visit and seeing family and doing all of that sort of stuff. And have you had a minute to watch any of the humanoid robot Olympics, Alex?
Some of it has appeared on my various feeds. And there's a comedian I love very much called Suze Kempner, who I followed sort of since the very beginning of her career, because she and I both did 5-minute open mic slots at the same bar in London. She continued with stand-up. Yeah. I was awful at it. And she put a reel up or something saying, wait, I saw that scientists have managed to develop a robot that can run faster than Usain Bolt. So can my car. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, good point.
I do love it. It's such good entertainment. It was one of my favourite sequences where it was this sprinting robot who does an incredible acceleration and does this incredible bit of proper athletics, so it appears. However, isn't able, as many of them aren't, to slow down enough before the curve, and they have a sort of a crash wall for them to hit.
Yeah, I saw that, and they just go full pelt into it like an excitable child into a glass window.
Exactly. I love there was one where it bounced off, and as it ricocheted backwards, it really did its very, very best to stand upright, and it almost just got it before keeling over backwards, snapping at the waist, and a great festoon. I don't know if that's the right word, but an explosion of sparks emitted from its belly.
Oh dear.
This is the gladiatorial entertainment of the future. Are you not entertained?
I mean, yeah, ish. It's quite funny. It's funny. It's funny while they're in their sort of embryonic.
Correct.
This is a bit rubbish phase. But when they start, rocking up with guns, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. But hey ho, what do I know?
Yeah. It reminds me of When we initially covered the Chinese motor industry on Gareth Jones on Speed, there were some really wacky cars out there. There was one that was essentially two Reliant Robins reversed into each other. It was a rhomboid design for a car, and there were some awkwardly styled things that were just dreadful. And of course now the Chinese motor industry absolutely matched a great deal of what we can do in Europe and in the United States and Japan, and in many cases surpassed what the rest of the world is doing. So here we go, watching these robots dance and fall over and almost do brilliantly. It reminds me of the very early days of the motor industry. You know, in 20 years, they're going to be better than us.
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be absolutely horrifying, but they're doing it for all the right reasons, security contracts and entertainment. But entertainment. A little bit like artificial intelligence. You'll make you a lovely flyer for your event, and then it will also take your job. So, you know.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I pretended to use AI in the summer music compilation for Gareth Jones on Speed. I imagined the show as though it was hosted by famous AI like Data from Star Trek or HAL 9000. But none of it really was AI. It was me and my fingers. But I had fun doing that. Anyway, sorry, back to from what we were doing on our holidays. The big motor news I spotted this week, and if you see this, Cadillac have changed their mind about coming to UK after all.
I hadn't seen that. Let me just do the world's quickest Google. Google.
The reason that they give is that the market is evolving at the moment, and what they mean by that is everyone's buying Chinese cars and no one's buying American cars. We don't know what to do. We thought we might have an opportunity now that Cadillac are in Formula One, but it's really going very badly.
Yes.
That wasn't the official line.
Just having a quick scan. As the UK market and EV landscape continues to evolve rapidly,
there you go.
With new competitors emerging, we are actively reviewing our future Cadillac plans to ensure they remain aligned with market conditions and customer demand, and we will continue to assess future opportunities. That, to me, says, someone from Autocars said, what do you reckon? And they've gone, maybe? We don't know. I mean, it would be a bold move for them, because they've tried twice, once in the 90s with the STS and once in the noughties with the BLS.
Yeah, which was a Saab, but at least they built that here, right?
Sort of. And it was underneath.
Yeah, the BLS, it was built in Tolhatten, wasn't it? In the Saab
when you
factory.
Say here.
Yeah.
When you say here, you don't mean the UK, but
yeah,
Europe.
So Europe, yeah.
It was okay. There was another one as well. There was a saloon and estate, and they
CTS.
So was it the CTS?
I think it was
Cadillac CTS.
BLS, BTS, and CTS, if memory serves.
Yes, you are correct.
Blimey, I got that from somewhere in my socks.
Yeah,
I was deep down.
I kind of get why they're doing it, or why they're mooting it, because if people go, oh yeah, go on, I'll buy that. I mean, Cadillac's US product offering is interesting. They've got the Celestiq, I think, which is like a $300,000 Rolls-Royce competitor, which just, I mean, wait and see what the Jag Type 01 does.
And the Lyric, which is like a Range Rover Sport. I think it's very handsome, the Lyric. Very good looking car.
The Lyric does look good. I mean, they've got a design studio. GM has a design studio over here, headed up by Julian Thompson, he of designing the S1 Elise, and lots of the good Jags with Ian Callum. So they're not mucking round, and they did an amazing Corvette concept a couple of years ago now.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, the I want to say Corvette Evo. It wasn't called that at all. It was. I actually met the guy involved in it, or one of the guys at the design event in Munich last year. His name escapes me. But yes. But Cadillac, it's a good brand. I believe in Cadillac. It's cool from a rock and roll point of view. Look at that Cadillac. It's all over the Stray Cats and rock and roll. And it has a cachet. Even, the famous 70s overhang years, Cadillac was still supreme.
Well, they were, but then they had this sort of image as old people cars in America.
True that.
It's all right, we can conquer Europe. And then they tried to conquer Europe, and everyone went, well, it's a Saab.
Yeah.
Why would I want a Saab with a rubbish dealer network? I mean, I wish them luck. I hope it works, because more variety on the road would be wonderful. I mean, it is a massive, expensive SUV. Could maybe do without some of those, but
Could also do very
better
well.
that than nothing. Let's give them a fair truck and see what happens.
I want to talk to you about, you mentioned Lotus briefly there, because we're both very fond and very close to Lotus. They made an announcement this week, something along the lines of they are opening up their production facilities at Hethel, branded as the Hethel Performance Hub. And what they're saying is, right, if you want to build a sports car, you're a little startup, come to us, we'll do it for you. Well, Lotus, we're very good at that. I was slightly baffled to read this because surely, isn't this what Lotus has been doing through Lotus Engineering for 30 or 40 years? A separate design consultancy and support service that will help you build and design a car? I don't get it.
If you look at where Lotus is now currently, so if we rewind to 2021, 22, when the Emira came out, Exige, Evora and Elise production was coming to an end, and the whole idea was that they were going to reinvigorate the factory with this global car, the Emira. That was going to be the sports car, that was the heart of Lotus, that was what Lotus was good at, and then it was going to build EVs. So we ended up with the Elettra and the Emea. But a small problem, the Emira was supposed to be something like 65 grand, and then it wasn't. Quite dramatically not. Now, I think last year I drove one, and it was the 400 horsepower one, which was something like 100 grand.
Yeah. They started about 80 something now, don't they?
Which is a lot of money for a Lotus. I mean, it's a lot of money full stop, but for an Emira, they never quite had that Porsche cachet. And if you're going to do that, then if you're going to spend that sort of money, you're probably going to buy a 911. I mean, I would, unless it was a used Emira, in which case I'd be all over it. But the Elettra, I see a few around. I don't see many Emeas around. The US Gambit obviously isn't going to happen because the Chinese tariffs and the ban of Chinese cars over there. So it kind of makes sense because Lotus has this massive factory, this enormous facility, so it may as well use it to design, engineer, develop cars. And yeah, as you say, like Lotus has done that for donkey's years. I mean, the DeLorean's quite a famous one. It did some Corvettes. It did
Tesla
the Lotus
Roadster.
Carlton. Well, the Tesla Roadster officially nothing to do with Lotus, sir.
Right. It just happened to be in their factory.
Bits just happened to be there, and then they were flown out to America, and then some bits were put together and it was made in America.
The Opel Speedster, what was it called? The Vauxhall
VX220 and the VX220. I was telling my lovely wife-to-be about this the other day. I think it was the launch of the 220 Turbo, where on said launch they started off with a certain amount of cars, and by the end of it they were nowhere near that amount because people kept spinning off, which makes me really want to drive one.
Yeah. Oh, we wish Lotus, well, we love Lotus, don't we? You and I have, and Zog too, I think. But I've got to draw your attention to one more silly thing on my list of silly things I wanted to talk to you about. And that's it is the antithesis of a Lotus, which is add lightness. I mentioned this, I sent you a link about a vehicle that is...
I'm looking at it now. The Jing Long King ZL230E.
Yeah.
With a 1,400 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah. This is an electric mining truck. You know those open cast mines that you get all over the planet? This company, Xijing Long King, have built this vehicle, but it's not a one-off. They're ordering a fleet of, it's about 1,600 of these Leviathans. These things are bigger than your house by some considerable margin. They're all at weight, loaded, 350 tonnes. They weigh 120 tonnes dry, and you can add 230 tonnes of mineral ore to the back.
Right. Okay, mineral ore presumably to make more EV batteries because they need
self-sustaining, and every mobile phone. And
we build the trucks to mine the battery for the next truck.
To build for one truck. That entire open cast mine has built one truck. I mean, the batteries are insane. It's got two 800 kilowatt motors, is that what it was? Not 800 kilowatt. What were the motors?
Let me have a look. I mean, trucks don't really tend to be measured in power, but
Yeah.
Jesus, 10 to 90% charge in 25 minutes. Are they just plugging it straight into Thor?
Are they?
Done.
I mean, epic. And it sent me down a rabbit hole.
800 kilowatt motors.
That was it, sorry. 800 kilowatt motors, 2. One on each of the double rear axle. And so it's a 6x4.
So it's got 2,144 45 mechanical horsepower.
Yeah, it's not enough, is it?
I mean, the thing is that those things rely on torque.
More
so they're
than
all about
anything. Yeah.
pushing and rolling and doing the things.
So an electric motor is very good for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest of trucks. I've been digging into it. I used to work in a quarry, you see, and we used to have Terex trucks there. So I had a bit of a dig round to see what Terex were up to. And at one point, they were credited with the biggest ever Terex. Was called the 3319 Titan. Empty, it weighed 231 tonnes. It had a 350 tonne payload, so its all-up weight was 580 tonnes. An interesting note, the name Terex was invented meaning Earth King. Terra Rex. Terex. Never put that together in my head before. And it's kind of appropriate that the Chinese electric super equivalent of that is called the Long King, the Zijing Long King.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people in various bits of America that would describe themselves as that, but still.
However, this is not the end to the story, because I think it's difficult to verify, but there is a vehicle even bigger than the Terex Titan. I think it was a one-off. It was called the Bell AS 75710, an ultra-class mining truck built in Belarus, 67 feet long, 26 feet high, empty, weighs 360 tonnes and holds a record-shattering payload capacity of 450 metric tonnes, so 810 tonnes gross. That's a diesel.
Of course it is, yes. But not a 1.3 diesel with a massive turbocharger. It's like a 9-litre diesel. Jeez, man.
Okay, one last thought. You know the crawler, the vehicle that's used to transport the Artemis space launch system?
Yes.
It's a giant tractor with a launch pad on it. It was used for the
Saturn V
space shuttle and the Saturn V Apollo missions too. That's actually a hybrid. Inside there, you've got multiple big diesel static engines that generate electricity, that drive electric motors that turn the caterpillar tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, I think. So it's a hybrid. How about that? It was a hybrid long before they were fashionable. Built in about 1954, I think they were commissioned, and they were built by a company who built shovels and tractors for open cast mines, you know, the super giant shovels.
Yeah. Jim's Earth Movers, I know them well.
Yeah. Hey, should we talk about something more elegant than big trucks?
Go on then. I mean, in the last week was Monterey Car Week. Or was it 2 weeks ago now? I don't know. It all sort of merged into one. It's in and around Carmel and Monterey in America, and it's where lots of auction records are broken, and every time I see a car that I'm like, okay, that's gone for a lot of money, there are wars going on, but still. And then it ends in this big sort of concours at the Pebble Beach Golf Course, where there have been a good number of Nazi cars taking the top prize. Not in the last few years.
Oh,
the trend,
really?
I think, has been spotted. Oh, yeah, it's quite horrific. Jalopnik did some decent coverage on it.
So you're talking about like Hitler's Mercedes or something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
Cars favoured by that neck of the industry, yeah.
Curious.
But not anymore. But it's also become sort of America's Goodwood.
Yeah.
So we get 4 days, they get a whole week, and ours is in one spot, theirs is all over that neck of the woods. But it does mean lots of things are unveiled, and something caught your eye, didn't it, Gareth?
Yeah, more for its name than anything.
Okay.
The Aston Martin Veyron.
Mm-hmm.
Right, where did they get that name from? Do you have any idea?
Latin.
Veyron, meaning balanced?
Strong or powerful?
Oh, of course, strong, Valen. Yeah, okay. Because for me, I looked at it and said, oh, yeah, the Aston Martin Van Halen. Seriously, that's how I read it. And it sent me down another of my silly trains of thoughts, and that is, okay, Aston Martin, all the vehicles have to start with V. Many of them have a Norse connection, Valhalla, Valkyrie, of course. That's obviously part of the culture. So how many other Norse variations are there? I did find a couple. I did write them down. I've lost them somewhere. But you could have the Vangelis. Right, yeah, that would work. But that would actually have to be an Aston Martin van.
Yeah.
And I did a mock-up of an Aston Martin van. Basically, it's a Transit. It's got the same grille, just with the word Aston Martin where Ford was. If you think about it.
They used to be owned by the same company. It's not outside the realms of
man.
possibility. The Valen does look great. It's a Vanquish in a nice dress. It's a special, which is where Aston Martin's going to start making a load of its money. I like it quite a lot. 838 horsepower. Something like that.
It's sharp looking, and let's hope they can last, because again, there's some financial worries about Aston Martin in terms of the F1 team and the road car team. They get some new investment this week, just in time to launch a new car.
Racing and things like that. Yeah, it's good. I really like it. I think it's really cool. It's a more digital look to it, and hopefully it may be... So the thing about these cars, if you look at it like the Bentley Baccarat and the Batteur, these were sort of last of the line, very special things, and they're sort of highlighting the future of this and the future of that. The Baccarat's headlights are basically the new Conti GT's headlights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The same...
Yeah, it's the same shape. It's
right.
a, sort of a single rather than sort of quad things. It's a set, and they're really nicely done. And so hopefully this might be a nudge towards where Aston's going, something a little bit more brutalist, like off of the advantages of the 70s and the 80s. That would be quite
there's
cool.
certainly a horizontal 70s edge to quite a lot of what they've done recently. You know, there was a period where it came out of the Callum jelly mould, beautiful organic compound curves, which I admire too. But yeah, there's something a bit more edgy going on. I found my list of names.
Oh yeah, found list names. What we got?
Perfect name for the next Aston Martin, Vigan.
Won't Saab get cross with that?
Different company.
Fair. Someone else will get cross with it
Mercifully,
instead.
and probably okay with it being an aircraft. Yeah, otherwise Triumph would have had trouble with the word Spitfire, wouldn't they?
True. Fair.
Vigan would be a perfect one. Vendella, apparently, is another Norse name starting with V, but it sounds a bit like Vendetta.
It also sounds like Nelson Vendella.
Nelson Vendella, the well-known Norse god.
Yes.
And of course, Valter, or Valtteri, if you're Finnish or Estonian. But you can't call a car Walter.
No.
It's an Aston Martin Walter.
This is a Walter. It's very lovely. It's very soft.
You can have the vermouth.
Oh,
Aston Martin
I love a
vermouth.
vermouth.
That works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Violenta. Bit violent, that one, isn't it? Viennetta. Creamy. The Vazza. That sounds a bit biological, doesn't it?
That sounds liquidy.
Yeah. Vasil.
The Vasil Faulty.
Yeah, and the smaller one, the Vaseline, the Aston Martin Vaseline. The
Very
little
slippery
one.
character, that one.
You could sell the Volodya or the Volodymyr in Russia. The Aston Martin Volodymyr.
I mean, I think go down great guns in Russia, but not so well elsewhere.
You can't call it the Viva. That one's been taken.
No, definitely
They
not.
should have released a Vettel.
They should have done.
When he drove for Aston Martin.
Well, Infinity did, didn't they? It was an FX50 Vettel
There was
edition.
indeed. I like that car. Big long bonnet.
Well, I've never driven an Infinity.
Oh, long time ago I drove the M30 and the M37, is that what it's called? They're sort of E-class thing. Very capable. Bit stodgy.
Q50, that one.
I think it was a 350, if memory serves. It was a long...
No, so they had a Q50 which was like a steer-by-wire thing.
It was before all that. But it was... Yeah,
Anyway.
It wasn't that interesting. The Vettel would have been interesting. You could have the Vienna, the Aston Martin Vienna.
I mean, that means nothing to me.
I was hoping you'd say that. Thank you for not letting me down. Thank you. I love you so much. I'll set him up, you knock him in. And the Victoria, although Beckham, that's more of a Range Rover, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
My favourite would be, And kind of appropriate in some ways. How about the Aston Martin Vale of Glamorgan? Well, they do build in Wales.
They do build in... I mean, it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah. And the Van der Valk, but that's a bit Dutch, really. The Aston Martin Van der Valk.
Yeah, nah. The Van Halen, I think we'll stick with. I like that one.
Van, yeah, and the Vegan. Hey, listen, I've got to let you go, I'm sure, because you've got 1,000 other things to do, and I've got to talk to that terrible Zog about Formula One and other things that you don't care about. Yeah.
I definitely don't. Before we go, a bit of homework for you. Look up, from Monterey Car Week, the singer that was partnered with Louis Vuitton. All I'll say is it's a Gucci Fiat 500 from the nice end of town. Then McLaren unveiled the MCL 6GT, which is a manual.
Right, yeah.
It's a manual and it's new, which is great, and it's all future design direction-y. And finally, the Gordon Murray Automotive S1, which is like an F1, but you can buy it now, which means he's sort of revisited his greatest hit. Don't really get it myself, but it's very pretty.
Okay, let's talk about that, because I think it's, controversial, a better looking version of the classic F1. I think it's amazing. I love what he's done. Is he allowed to do it?
I don't know. I imagine McLaren's lawyers were going, what the... I mean, yeah, it's... Obviously, the F1's very pretty. GMA stuff is very good. From someone like Gordon Murray, I'd hope for something very, very different before this.
It's an homage. It's a clear homage, a very clear homage. Yeah. It's got all the details, but it's flatter and sharper and somehow looks more futuristic.
But still, have a look. I'm not...
You're disappointed. You think he should have done something of his own?
I mean, he is arguably one of the greatest engineers the automotive world has ever seen. So I can't be like, he did a bad thing, because he objectively didn't do a bad thing. It's an F1, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an awful lot of F1. I think he's probably allowed to do it. I think I know why he's done it, because everyone who looks at a Gordon Murray car goes, yeah, that's really nice. You can do an F1 again for us, could you? That's what people want. It's your greatest hit. So he has to honour his own heritage, as Ford do with the Mustang. I know it's his heritage.
It's a bit different.
His relationship with this car is like Pininfarina's relationship with a lot of Ferraris. You know, it was their design but not their car. And if you look at the Pininfarina Battista, that really honours the great tradition of Pininfarina designed Ferraris.
Yeah.
It certainly draws that link. This is doing the same here because it's what people want. People are very conservative, aren't they, in that level?
Yeah, they are. People are boring. Anyway, some homework for you. Enjoy the singers. I didn't.
Okay, I'm looking at a picture of them now. 2 minutes with you on this before we go. Right, so they have styled up a couple of singers to reflect Louis Vuitton luggage, all that leather and strappage, right? So it's leather everywhere. It's leather hues. There's a coupe and there's a convertible version, and the coupe has got a nice 1970s steel roof rack on it. That's luggage.
Yes.
I like luggage. I would never buy Louis Vuitton luggage. Do you know why?
No.
Have you seen their logo over the Formula One track at the moment?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it was printed with a bubble jet printer that's not lined up properly.
Yeah.
It really annoys me. It's not printed properly. I know it's meant to look like that, but that annoys me, so I won't buy a Louis Vuitton bag for that reason.
And that is the only reason.
And huge cost. You love singers. Why did these cars annoy you?
Because I think they're really tacky, and I think they are Gucci Fiat 500s from the nice end of town.
They are.
Singer makes incredible vehicles, but it kind of sums up Monterey quite nicely. Like, it is very much a space not for the likes of you. And it's very much a no, I want these two things that I like, and I don't care how much it costs to mash them together, and no matter how tasteless it is.
Yeah.
It's very much a matter of taste. I mean, lots of the internet hates them. Some of the internet likes them. I think they're foul.
Yeah, they don't offend me. Far from it, in fact. I think the coupe in that tan leather colour, the body is in that colour, looks rather handsome. And I do like the traditional, almost period roof rack. The other one, it's a bit silly, but the more classic one is fine. Your mate, by the way, and I say mate, Mate Rimats, was driving a fleet of Bugattis to Monterey with a police escort. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I saw this. I mean, bravo. He's very hands-on with his vehicles and his clientele. He knows what they want, which is really fast stuff.
I've lost track of the names of the cars.
It's the Chiron, named after Louis Chiron, the Formula One driver.
Of course.
The man who, look up him and Helen Neeson, then maybe think less of him. There's the Mistral. There's the new one, the Tourbillon, after that thing in watches.
Tourbillon.
And there was one called the De Stray or something, that is sort of a one-of-one from their Bugatti Solitaire programme, where when you're so wealthy, Bugatti will design you your own Bugatti.
Zog's having one of those, isn't he? I mean, he loves a Bugatti.
It's going to look like a 944.
Yeah, we don't move in those circles, do we, Alex? But
no, we do not.
Listen, tell me, what's the sexiest car you've got your hands on in the last couple of weeks? Well, you've been busy. Briefly.
I've just been writing for the last couple of weeks. I've been doing nothing hugely exciting. I've not been bouncing around and driving fun things. I've been nose to the keyboard.
The grindstone, the keyboard grindstone.
Yes.
Well, thank you for finding time to talk to me about silly cars when you've got silly cars to write about.
Yes, so many silly cars. Well, thank you, friends. Happy welcome back from summer, everyone. When I next see you, I will be fresh back from Italy, having been playing with some race cars without drivers.
Oh, really?
I'm going back, baby.
Tell me more on the next show. See you soon, big boy.
Bye.
Bye. Mr. President, it's just amazing to have an IndyCar race here right on the streets of Washington.
Yes, isn't it something special? So many great American drivers racing here in America's capital. I just met some of them. I have a great memory and I can remember all their names. Scott McLaughlin, Marcus Armstrong, Scott Dixon.
They're from New Zealand, sir.
Christian Rasmussen, Christian Lundgaard.
They're both Danish.
Felix Rosenqvist, Marcus Ericsson.
Swedish.
Alex Palau.
He's from Spain.
Pato O'Ward.
Mexican.
Dennis Hauger.
Norwegian.
Kyle Collett.
Brazilian.
Will Power.
He's Australian.
Louis Foster.
British.
Rinus VK.
Dutch.
Mick Schumacher.
German.
Romain Grosjean.
Swiss French.
Kevin Simpson.
He's from the Cayman Islands, sir.
You're telling me that none of those drivers are Americans?
Yes, sir.
So, who's most likely to win this race today?
Most probably Alex Palou.
He's from Spain, right?
Yes, he is.
That's no good. This is the Freedom 250, and America has to win this race. Okay, you, Roger Penske, come here.
Yes, Mr. President.
Your boy Paolo. When was the last time he made an uncharacteristic mistake and clipped the wall?
In my memory, almost never, sir.
So tell him this. There's a first time for everything.
Very unusual to have Zog join me for the second half of the show. We usually talk at the top of the programme. Hey Z, how are you, buddy?
Hey, not bad, thanks. How you doing today?
I'm good, yeah. I'm
Excellent.
enjoying the balanced weather here in North Wales. Not too hot, not too cold. It's fresh and bright and beautiful. It's
Goldilocks zone.
I live there. I think Conway could be the Goldilocks zone. Yeah. Although we're redefining what that is now. Have you seen Project Hail Mary?
I have, and we should just say for anyone that isn't familiar, the Goldilocks zone, it has been used by planetary scientists and people that think about life in space, possible alien life on other planets, as the zone around a star where the conditions on a planet are going to be right for life. The idea being that if your planet is either too hot or too cold, too frozen or too toasty. You can't have life, but if you're in the right temperature zone, like you're in the Goldilocks zone, and life is more likely to, or maybe those are the only conditions under which life can evolve. We don't know yet. We only have one data point. But Hail Mary. Yes, I've seen Project Hail Mary and I loved it.
It was magnificent. Yeah, I mean, I'm joking when I say we're redefining what the Goldilocks zone is now, but one of the...
Well, but go.
Yeah, the core message in this...
We are rethinking that idea.
We are, yeah, that's true, yeah. And some real science is reflected in Project Hail Mary, where we're talking about life forms which don't rely on oxygen, that don't rely on water. Well, some do, in Project Hail Mary. I won't go into it here, spoilers. But I thought it was a really nice sci-fi, deeply satisfying movie that had some good science in it, some stuff you just have to go with. Okay, fair enough. But it was a joyful, very positive, almost Star Trekian in its positivity, and a great sort of family film. What a good film to watch with young people, I think, that movie.
I agree. No, it's definitely a film for all ages. It's a terrific movie, and it's one of those films that doesn't, or to me, it didn't lack for anything else, because it's also something that could appeal to younger people. At the same time that it's got enough hard science in there to appeal to proper sci-fi and science geeks like you and me, and to have us rubbing our hands in glee. It also is a tremendously entertaining and engaging film, and you've got to say they did a tremendous job of
everything.
Giving charisma and character to a very odd non-human character. It's a very non-human... Amaze. Yeah. So we won't go on about it. Yeah, highly recommended. Great movie. Although, actually, we should... because I think it's a really interesting subject. Since you mentioned, Goldilocks zone and conditions under which life might evolve, I think one of the things that's driven us to be more open-minded about the conditions under which life might evolve, not just necessarily... Oceanic vents, volcanic vents? To some extent, yes, although they're still kind of wet and, within a certain temperature zone. And
true.
I think it's also the fact that, the more and more we've looked on Earth for life in different places, we just find it everywhere. Whether you're looking miles beneath the ground, whether you're looking in the driest places on Earth, whether you're looking in the hottest places on Earth, the coldest places on Earth, whether you're looking inside nuclear reactors or... fungus growing inside Chernobyl,
or
on the outside of a probe that you have launched into orbit.
Yeah.
We find life there. So, we're learning that it seems almost impossible to come up with conditions under which life can't survive.
Life could not exist. Yeah. I feel the spirit of Jeff Goldblum moving through me. What is it he said? Life will find a way.
I think it's life finds a way, but yes.
Okay, fair enough,
I think it's life finds a way.
No, come on, that's what we're here for, buddy.
Life does find a way. Life does find a way.
You talk about rubbing your hands in glee. I rubbed my hands in glee, and at one point found myself crouched on the sofa, knees up against my face, whilst watching the Dutch Grand Prix from Zandvoort over the weekend. It was a thriller.
Yeah, it was. We had some great moves. We had proper racing at the front and then back down through the field.
Of course.
Early race drama with Verstappen's exit. Didn't seem to dampen the enthusiasm of the crowd too much, which was good news. I
was looking into the fact that this is the last Dutch Grand Prix, that they've chosen not to extend their contract beyond 2026. And there's a school of thought that suggests that what they've said is they want to quit while they're at a peak, a bit like Paul Weller splitting the Jam after the third album or something. Right, quit while you're ahead, because they predict a downfall over the next few years in earnings, and they don't want to go into bankruptcy. They want to quit while they're ahead. Dutch, right? Great trading nation. Yeah, it's a business, and it was privately funded, apparently, the whole thing. Very little government support, which is amazing for the Dutch. It's surprising, really. And I read this another way. I read this that, what if Max Verstappen did do what he's been threatening to do for the last few years, and that's quit Formula One and go and race in another series. The people promoting Zandvoort wouldn't have the pull that they would have ordinarily. So they made this decision and then found out that Max has extended his contract with Red Bull till 2030. Oh no, he could have carried on with the Dutch Grand Prix.
Maybe. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. And yeah, there could be something in that. I mean...
it's only a wild idea.
Yeah, and obviously you're speculating there. But for months, until just last week, when Max confirmed that he's staying with Red Bull and that's his intended future. Yeah, there was real doubt about whether Max would be staying in Formula One, and it does seem that was that was a real. It wasn't just media speculation, pundit speculation, people trying to make up for there being no better stories around to talk about. He was seriously considering the move. And yeah, if you're backing the Zandvoort Grand Prix and you're making assumptions about what revenue you're going to have over those next few years,
that would be a factor.
That has to depend, enormously on whether Max Verstappen is still in the sport or not. So
I know that Max had a conversation recently with Ben Sulayem regarding the rules in future, because this move...
The engine rules?
Yeah, this move to 60-40 internal combustion engine electric split for next year, and then beyond that, what's increasingly looking like the almost certain return of the V8 running on synthetic fuels this time round. Kind of, wow, didn't see that coming. And I'm sure there's going to be strong lobbying from the manufacturers to keep hybrid, because it's everywhere in the cars that people drive if they don't drive an electric car these days. But they understand their IP and what's important to them to promote racing or, support of manufacturers. Formula One has ebbed and flowed through those eddies, hasn't it, since its inception. And sometimes you get loads of manufacturer support and then they all go away, and the sport has to ensure its future independently, you might say. Good luck to him. It's a tricky political game, isn't it? Juggling massive concerns like the automotive concerns.
Yeah, and you've got there are a lot of people to keep happy one way or another, and you can never satisfy everybody, of course. We're currently, in this period where there's been quite a lot of unhappiness with the current set of rules, or the rules and the technical regulations that we started this year with. That were largely a result of, trying to draw up regulations that would ensure that Audi came into the sport. But having made the changes that they made to do with the increased hybrid element, that's now something that nobody wants, and Audi don't care about anymore.
I'd like to hear cars scream again. Sound has always been a big part of the attraction in motorsport.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. But also the split of electrical hybrid power and internal combustion power that we started this year with definitely made for less good racing and less transparent racing, because you couldn't tell a lot of the time whether somebody is quicker in a certain moment of the race and of a move because they are actually able to drive that car with more skill at that moment on that bit of track than the other driver.
Given the same circumstances.
Or because of something that one of those drivers had done 4 corners earlier, that means that they're now on a different energy harvesting and deployment strategy. And that is, at the same time that I love the technology of this sport, I don't want it to be feeding into that kind of thought process and that kind of uncertainty.
We love the complexity of our sport, but that arguably was just too complex for people to grasp easily who truly had the advantage.
Yeah, like the complexity is good, but it needs to be sort of kind of in the background and something that you can dip into if you want to, rather than being something that you're forced to deal with in the moment. Keep the sporting element simpler,
Yep.
the racing simpler and keep the technology as complicated as you like.
They seem to have got on top of it with limiting energy deployment rates and recovery rates to a point at the moment. And we had pretty pure racing at Zandvoort. Maybe it just works really well there. Zandvoort is not an easy track to overtake on, as we saw in the sprint race. God, that was dull. Did you see the sprint?
I did. It wasn't...
Nothing happened.
yes, it was in every way less good than the than the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I think the universe was put back
Shorter,
in balance
less action.
by an absolutely epic Grand Prix. It was really, really thrilling. Maybe I was overexcited because at one point, well, at several points, Lewis led the race because he was the last to change tyres, but that's always a good indicator. And, you know, bar some further bad luck, he should have been on the podium, but Leclerc...
Well, yes, so this is interesting. So do you think that Ferrari's strategy, in particular, perhaps not moving Leclerc out of the way quickly enough, did their strategy cost Lewis a podium or maybe even a win? What's your take on that?
Before Lewis came on the radio saying, "Man, I'm quicker than him, you've got to let me through," I turned to Indy, who I was watching the race, number 2 son with here, and I said, "You watch, in about a lap, Lewis is going to be on the radio going, 'Man, I'm quicker than Leclerc, you got to let me through.'" So it was kind of inevitable. Most drivers say that sort of thing. There's always this, "I'm quicker than him, let me through." I don't have the numbers to absolutely confirm one way or another whether Ferrari did make the right call or not, right? I don't know. However, I thought Fred Vasseur was quite, I wouldn't say apologetic, but careful about how he answered that question. So he had some doubts. That's as far as I'm prepared to go. What's your view? We love Lewis. We're going to be biased, right?
Yeah, but I love Leclerc as well.
Yeah.
I don't want Leclerc to do badly in order that Lewis can do well. But
Yeah.
no, I think they did shortchange Lewis a little bit. And, you know, again, maybe an example of, you know, Ferrari just not being quite as on top of their strategy and on top of the opportunities as they should be. And they need to be in order to
win championships, win races.
Lewis a shot at the title. Which, of course, he's now, well, I think...
third in the championship,
you know,
now.
fighting with, you know, Norris for that. Well, he and Norris are level on points for second place. Just go by the numbers. Yeah, they're the two who are possibly in contention with Antonelli for the title. But Norris has a bit more momentum right now.
He does.
And probably that McLaren's looking quick. I think they...
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably the second quickest car now. Surely.
I'm in a real quandary. This is how much I'm enjoying the sport at the moment. You know, given being a Lewis fan, I want Lewis every chance to win this 8th championship. But I adore Kimi. I think Kimi's a breath of fresh air. And, you know, Norris has had his championship, relaxed now, but the fact that the McLarens are now back in the championship, I'm shouting for Norris to beat Kimi if Lewis can't. So it keeps Kimi from winning the championship and keeps Lewis in the championship. It's great, man. I love it. It's got a long way to go. And did you hear what Toto Wolff said about developments yet to come on the Mercedes?
I didn't see that interview. So what did he say?
Well, he was saying, you know, he can't understand how everyone can afford to do the updates that they have done. And that there will be very limited updates. There'll be one big one, but that'll be it for the rest of the season now on the Mercedes car, suggesting that they'd thrown all their credits so far to get this point. And there's some talk about teams using their credits for next season with the shift. Because of the shift from 50-50 to 60-40 next season, they're all being allocated an extra budget to allow for that. And there's some talk of teams using what is essentially that budget to develop their cars this year. Oh, that's not going to go well, is it? But if you're desperate, you've got to put speed on your car, right? It's a brutal game, isn't it, Formula One?
Yeah, but Mercedes they should be a little bit anxious, because McLaren, Ferrari both been developing their cars very well, and they've made life much more difficult for Mercedes than I dare say they expected. But speaking of upgrades, we've got to credit Aston Martin with actually
beat me to it,
actually improving that car enough to not just get the lowest scoring place, but actually get it's got 9th place, 2 points. That's a real result for them.
Yeah, I was reading an analysis of the performance of the car. Some very smart person had looked at the cornering speeds of the Aston Martin, and they can see that it was way ahead of almost every car on the grid. It was like top 3 or top 4. Its cornering abilities were sensational. It had incredibly low tyre degradation. Now all they need is to be able to crank that Honda engine up another 20 brake horsepower, right? And
they need the power plant to be up to scratch. Yeah, the Adrian Newey promise is being realised. Yeah, they now need the Honda promise to come good as well.
Yeah. I was looking at the way that the Honda logo is written on the Aston Martin, and it has a very elegant typeface or font, I don't know which is the correct term, white, the word Honda. And I think Honda may have updated some of their imagery recently, because I had to look into it, because looking at it, it made me think, is that the Honda of America, Honda of North America, I think they're called, version of the Honda logo? Because you think of the traditional Honda logo, I think it's is it a silver H in a red background with a chrome square around it, or is it a variation of those colours, flip of those colours? So I looked into it, and the HRC, I can't remember what they're called, they're the American wing who build the IndyCar engines for IndyCar, but the Formula One engines are still made in Japan, designed by the Honda racing team people. I'm sure there's a crossover. I'm sure there's a lot of Japanese Honda people who've gone to work with Honda in America and left Honda when Honda left Formula One or moved to other departments. But do you remember there was some discussion about how when Honda were granted this contract to supply engines for Aston Martin, nobody realised that Honda's engine department didn't really exist in the way that it did anymore?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's reflected in this subtle logo change. It's a new generation of Honda. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, iconography.
Probably. Who knows? I mean, you've done a bit of a deep dive there. I mean, for me, I always just think of, the Honda logo, I just always think of that, H, slightly splayed out at the top, in a, rounded quadrilateral that also slightly flares out at the top. That's
Honda.
The Honda logo.
Yeah. But they
Honda.
write the word...
Or Honda written as Honda.
Yeah, maybe I'm old school. I just remember Mugen Honda and how that was written on the side of the Jordans and the... was it Super Curio? Did they actually have... Didn't have Mugen, they had proper Honda engines. I can't remember. I've been watching Formula One too long. It blurs now.
Well, there's a lot of it, in those memory banks of yours.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
And yours. Yeah.
All sorts of memories are going to be, bumping up against one another. It's easy to get a bit muddled down again.
Before we go, Zog, we have to talk about Monza. Was it September the 6th? I'm going round to Gwyn's to watch it. Is it the 6th, the Sunday? But I'll be there. Are we going to see a Ferrari win at Monza or not, are we?
Well... let's hope so. I mean, I believe it can happen. I know it can happen.
Yeah.
I hope it's going to happen. Let's see. But yeah, Ferrari will certainly be pulling at all the stops. But on the other hand, they've probably been outdeveloped by McLaren recently.
Yeah.
They're still not as quick as Mercedes. So who knows? But maybe they'll be unveiling another couple of tweaks there to just eke out a little bit more speed. We'll see. Final
word, Monza, I think we're going to see Tsunoda and Lawson still in their respective seats. I'm not sure if Isaac Hadjar will be back with his damaged hand. Oh, that's sad. But didn't they both do well?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's sad that Isaac Hadjar had to sit a race like that. But on the other hand...
on the other hand...
It was great to see Tsunoda back and doing a solid job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and thumbs up to both Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda stepping into vacant race seats and doing a solid job.
Yay.
Particularly Tsunoda, because, obviously, at the same time, obviously he's a reserve driver, so he will have been, I'm sure, keeping current and keeping his fitness, and he'll have been in the simulators. Yeah. Even so, he's just stepped into that car at the weekend and really delivered a very respectable performance, having been out for a long time.
Making it look easy, and it ain't.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, great to catch up with you, buddy.
Good to talk to you, mate. And let's looking forward to Monza. Let's see how that pans out.
Ciao, Bella. Speak to you after the Italian Grand Prix. And you guys, that's it from us for now. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this show, then please like, share and subscribe. For information on how to contact the show, see pictures, read song lyrics, follow us on social media, or to sponsor this podcast, go to garethjones.tv. Gareth Jones on Speed is made in Wales by Whiz Bang.
Gareth Jones on Speed!